Internet. I hope we have slightly better luck today. Yesterday was a little bit fraught with technical difficulty. Specifically, um, like Twitch basically went down. It's a little awkward. I kept working for a little while because I was still broadcasting technically. It just the video wasn't like visible. Chat stayed up for a little while. We had some nice conversation even after the end. Oh, you know what I should be doing right now is clicking the send buttons that I tend to click at the beginning of a stream, because the sooner I do that, the sooner I can get to business, down to brass tacks, the why we're all here, the purpose of all this what have you and whatnot. I apologize if my dialogue is a bit thin right now. I am not actually paying attention to what I'm saying. I'm paying attention to like clicking through browser tabs and clicking buttons. Bleep bla doop doodle doop doop blah blah blah. Oh, it was a captcha. I missed a captcha. 2-7. Yep. Okay. So if you're watching this in the archives, you've probably not really enjoyed the last minute or so of the stream. And it might be a minute or so more before we get to something that constitutes entertainment. So feel free to skip ahead. I'm not going to take it personally. Alright, I'm almost there though. So hopefully you didn't skip ahead too far. Because if you did, then you wouldn't even be hearing me say this right now. What a tragedy that would be. Alright, we're about done. Just about done. Let me just... oh, okay, sorry. One of the one of the forms failed to submit, so I was just touching that up real quick, and then, that's interesting. This one just like failed to submit altogether. I'm not gonna really worry about that right now, or maybe I should just reload the form. I did. Yeah, I have like a million of these things that I'm sending out. Well, not a million, but like more than one. And so I had to like open up the forms ahead of time, and then hence the clicking of submit buttons. Is that gonna work now? Maybe, hopefully. The code I entered is incorrect. Captchas, gosh. Hey Marty, how's it going? Welcome. I'm not yet being interesting, Marty. I apologize. I'll be interesting. I promise I'll be interesting in the very near future, right? You know how some people at the start of their stream, they're like, they have like code, more captchas. I guess these captchas are like expiring or something, because, yeah, I mean, like, you know how some people at the start of their stream, they just like, they don't open with the stream, they open with like, just like a screen, and like a screen saying like, starting soon. I don't do that. Because I personally don't appreciate when people do that necessarily. Like if I find one of those, if I find someone broadcasting like starting soon, I pretty much never sit there and wait. Like I usually just go find a more interesting stream. Hey, Killer Q. Does pirate ships count as interesting? I feel like because we're working on pirate ships today, I feel like I can go with interesting. I feel like it's not a reach to say interesting. All right, we're pretty much there. Did that one still fail to send? Alright, I don't care about that one. That one's stupid. In fact, I don't care about any of these. I mean, I only care to the extent that I'm pretty sure they all worked at this point, or enough of them worked, or whatever. Alright, so one last step. I will hit blammo, and then let's get to it. No further ado. Ado is for suckers, huh? No one likes a do. Are you still level 13? Were you 13 the last time you played this game? Because if you were if you were 13 the last time you played this game and you haven't played the game since, then you'd probably be level 13. Do you not have your Twitter connected? Because if you don't have your Twitter connected, then I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. There is stuff I can do for you. There's just nothing I'm going to do for you, because, like, seriously, come on. They're literally, like, thousands of people who play this game. I don't I don't look up people's levels on requests. I'm going to look up how many people played this game. I'm just not going to look up your level. I don't mean to sound rude. 3,090 players so far in this game. So far. Okay. Let's open up our pirate ship. Well, that's too bad for you, Killer Q. There's nothing wrong with Twitter, so if you don't like it, that's kind of on you. I'm not saying you have to start a Twitter account and like share all your deepest, darkest thoughts on the internet. What I'm saying is, if you care about messaging, Twitter is the platform through which this game messages. So, like, if you have questions like that, then actually you do like Twitter. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Like, you don't have to acknowledge that you like it, but it serves exactly the function that you're asking served. So, actually, the evidence would indicate that you in fact do like it. Perhaps you're just not. You just haven't come to terms with this yet. All right. So I'm sorry you had to find out this way, Killer Q. But all right. The last thing that we were working on at the end of the day was these waves, just wave textures. So like the waves are basically gonna look like this. They're not gonna be super detailed, but here I'll put the boat in just so you can see roughly what it'll look like relative to the boat. Oops, layer 11 looks weird. So it'll just be like there's the boat and then there's waves, and yeah. All right, so let's hide those and let's get back to it. All right, what size brush is this? I like to hey, creative, welcome. How's it going? So I like to just keep consistency with the brush size. So was it like, no, it's not size 6. That's too big, and I'm also on the wrong layer. What layer am I supposed to be on right now? Layer midground. Midground is the correct layer. Let's sample from image. I'll just toggle that now because I'm going to toggle that eventually. Nope, that's way too big. Size 4 brush. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. So, yeah, I just put the row of waves all across the bottom, and now I'm going to fill in the top sections as well. That's too steep. The waves are like, I call them waves, but it's actually just like disruption in the surface of the ocean. Like it's not like you know, it's not like the waves that like come up and like crash down and like, you know, that's not how waves work, but whatever. It's not gonna be big waves like that. It's just like ripples, I guess. Pirate ships is the plan for today, creative. Pirate ships is the plan for today. And then there will be more stuff after pirate ships, I presume, because like I don't expect it to take me all day to pirate ships. Just most of the day is pirate ships, and then yeah, I don't really have a specific thing that I need to do. Oh no, I do have the pirate ship implies a few code tasks. So after I finish the pirate ship, I'll have some code tasks to take care of, and then that might I don't necessarily want that to take all day. So a little bit later, I think, you know, I'll have to go to the I was gonna call it the drawing board, but I guess it's actually the backlog, and and kind of the same thing. Actually, I don't know what a drawing board is. I don't know where that expression originates from, so they might be completely different things for all I know. Okay, so the waves are bigger in the front, and then they kind of like fade off into the distance is the idea. Am I being like at all consistent? No, I was being much, like I was making them much broader over here. But I'm being consistent most of the other places, so I don't know. We'll go with this for now, see how it works out. We might want to scale it back a little bit. The thing that I think I didn't capture before is that the waves are supposed to get smaller. Like they're supposed to be bigger in the front, and then like these 4 here, for example, are supposed to be like progressively further and further away. So yeah, the code task for the pirate ship, I need to figure out a way to pause a layer so that the layer doesn't cycle, because the pirate ship isn't going to the pirate ship, well, it hypothetically could loop, but I don't think it would make sense looping. So, because that would be like the world's longest pirate ship. You'd just be like on this pirate ship that it's actually not that much drawing. Oh yeah, because we drew like most of it yesterday. Yeah, most of it yesterday. So hold on, let me. So what we have so far is here's the ship itself. We have like some crates on deck. We want to put more we want to put more props and stuff on the pirate ship. But here's like the gist of it. Like here's the deck. Here there are the cabin interiors, and yeah. So this is what we got so far. So now I mean yeah, at this point it's basically like we have the foundation. Oh, we also have there's also a railing that goes around the top deck. And so yeah, so the like the main task now is to put in the props, and I consider waves to be props. So props and waves, or props as waves as props, depending on your perspective. Uh, and then we'll be G2G. Y'all. I think did I think I exported yesterday's I think I archived the yeah, questing at the speed of light. So if anyone missed the first half of the pirate ship, it is now up on the YouTubes. Oh, whoops. Oh, wait. I think there was a duplicate upload that I was supposed to delete. Yeah, this is duplicate. Whoops. We don't need that one. We can get rid of this one. Uh, but yeah, all right, that's it. Yeah. And yeah, actually, a lot of people missed this one because this is like right. Oops, sorry. No idea. This is like I think this is right around the time that that Twitch like went down yesterday. So like everything that I did after this point, which I'll be honest, it was mostly waves. It was mostly like, or no, actually wait, no, it wasn't this one. It was the previous video. But like yeah, like most of what I did yesterday after Twitch went down was like cleaning up the pirate ship a little bit. Oh, I changed the cutaway effect for anyone who watched it yesterday. Like that's different today. And then yeah, I started on the waves. I like tried to figure out like, you know, I mean I try and stay simple mostly. It's like a lot of what I figure out when I'm like you know working on this stuff is like I'm trying to figure out like how to accomplish the effect without needless complexity. So I mean maybe I can be a little more sparing with the waves. Like maybe I don't have to cram them in quite so much because like I did think this looked okay, and this was more sparing. Oh yeah, so then there's one open question. There's at least one big open question I have about the. Ooh, whoops! Did I just draw that on the wrong layer? Did I draw these on the peaks layer? Yes, I did. All right, well it's not that many, so I could just not care. I could just redraw them, or I could cut them. Whoops, wrong layer. Cut them. Put them on a new layer. Paste. Paste. Oh no, I hit copy instead of paste. Cut. New layer. Paste. Squish. Alright, deselect. Alright, sounds like a plan, creative. Oh yeah, I do have to do the seams on the water, because the water will loop. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna so just to get these peaks not looking so like thick and like you know like when you draw a seagull and it's actually just like swoopy swoop like that. Like I don't know. Like it's quick, it's to the point, but it leaves like artifacts of like the brush and the medium that you were using to create the effect. So I just want to temper a little bit of that. Oops. Oh yeah, right. I could have done this on another layer, and that might have been slightly easier, but whatever. This will work. So yeah, just I think just by like shaving these down a little bit, I think it makes it look a little more natural, a little bit more like it's on the surface of the water, and not just like slammed in there with like a marker on a piece of blue construction paper or something. I don't actually have anything against like kindergarten art. I don't know why I keep slamming on it. I guess because like I'm only slightly better than kindergarten art. Like the art for this game is only slightly better than kindergarten art. I guess it's like it serves as a very relatable basis of comparison. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that. All right, so just a little more of this stuff. Not the most exciting thing that I'm going to do. So, I am, of course, as I tend to be when I'm working on art type stuff, I am super interested in questions right now. So, if you have questions, if you have anything you've been dying to find out, anything you want to discover about life, the universe, or me particularly, feel free to ask. Because like, there's not. I mean, I can talk about like what I'm doing, and like what's going through my head as I like like gingerly sculpt these little dashes. But I think also a bit of what I'm doing, because I'm doing it over such a span. I think some of it will be a little bit self-evident too. So to the extent that you're not enthralled by the mysteries of these little pointy V's, upside down V's, let me know. Let me know what you would like to hear about, and I will talk about that instead, perhaps. Uh, do 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 do. Uh, for example, Killer Q asks, "Why does everyone hate me?" And the answer to that question is, not everyone hates you. You're paranoid. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. But uh, Creative asked what was the plan for today. We answered that a little bit. Uh, Redonkulous expresses great outrage and offense over those derisive jabs at kindergarten art that I made earlier. I I'm sorry, Redonkulous. I I will write a very genuine and sincere letter of apology to the International Kindergarten Artists Association and assure them that I respect their work and that I support them as artists. Um, yeah. uh, so creative asks, do I do this all with a pen or mouse? I do. I use one of those magic pens. I have a tablet and a pen here that I've so let's see. When I was like, I must have been like 14 or so. When I was like 14 or so, I thought one of these would be a cool thing to have. I think one of my friends got one, and then all of a sudden, because my friend had one, I was like, I want one, naturally. And so I did get one when I was very young, and I've always had like this very baseline model. Like I think I've never spent more than like, like 2 digits of money on these things, and I've only ever had like three in my life. Um, One I got when I was very young, well, a teenager, and maybe that's why I resent kindergarten art so much, is because I didn't get started with art until I was a young teen. No, uh, yeah, I got one of these when I was young, and I started using it, and I liked it. It was a lot of fun. I just like I liked drawing stupid things, and so I did, and so I've just gotten comfortable using one, and so it kind of helps, I think, because like, um, if I hadn't just like for fun like been drawing stuff when I was younger, I would have had like a lot more, like, I don't know, I wouldn't have even been able to accomplish like this level of art, right? So um, I know my games are not going to be competitive on the basis of art, just based on what I'm able to accomplish, but I for someone who is not like a professional artist, like just having that little tool, it's basically like the for me, it's basically like the difference between like, it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what's a very rudimentary, very primitive tool. Like it's like having a flint, for example. Like so like trying to survive like in making art without a tablet is basically like trying to survive in the wilderness like without flint. It's like you can do it, you can survive that way, but it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be really handy if you just have something to uh, to start fires a lot faster. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, all game development is basically just trying to start fires. Uh, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Um, Killer Q, you believe you're psychic and things really mess up for the worst when you try to interact. It's not really paranoia, more like, well, yeah, I mean, that's the saying, right? Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong. I think paranoia kicks in when you think that it's like literally the world is out to get you. If you think that like bad things happen, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't. I'm not. These are not like professional statements, but do 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 diddly doo doop bleep a doop bloop bloop a doop blub ding dong bleedly diddly dee. Sorry. Marty VM asks, why do I always sing doo 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 doodly doo doo blap bling bling blom blam badam bling blong doodly doodly doo Shazam flow bow da dow doodly daddly dow blap bow bing dong. Oh, but the question was why. Um, I don't know. That's what's in my brain. Like apart, like there's like a thick layer of words on the top of my brain, but then if you dig down a little bit, it's just like weird face noises is like the next layer of my brain. So when I run out of things to say, there it is. Doo 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 doodly ding dong. Yeah, it's literally. I think you'll notice that I do it when I'm working on art, and I don't understand this entirely. I don't completely understand what is actually happening in my brain per se. My best guess is that when I'm working on art, I'm not using like the speech centers of my brain. Like when I'm coding, I'm actually like thinking like somewhat verbally. Like people describe programming in languages, and so I kind of feel like I think like my the part of my brain that like works, like the part of my brain from which work emanates. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I've like basically no clue what I'm talking about. But I'm pretty sure like that gets tied up with with the work at hand. When I'm working on art, I so yeah so when I'm working on coding tasks, like if I'm not like thinking specifically of something to say, my brain like will yeah. So what happens instead of like doop doop bleed ding dong, is that I'll end up like I'll just end up dictating verbatim what I'm typing instead of like actually like coming up with like sentences to describe what I'm doing. I'll just literally like the same thing that comes out of my face is what comes out of my fingers onto the keyboard. That sounded weird, but so then when I'm working on art, like I don't know, maybe those bleep doop diddly ding dong bloop blop badows are the verbal representation of what's going through my head when I'm working on art. I think more likely it's just that nothing's going through my head, like through the verbals. Yeah. No, that's not far from true. But no, nothing's like nothing like the verbal centers of my brain are not like activated at that time. So, uh, so it's probably like the equivalent of like a verbal tick, right? Because like I'm used to like making noises, and so if like there's nothing in the if there's nothing in the queue of like words to be saying instead, my yeah, I don't know. Uh, I think it's probably like why we whistle when we're nervous too, right? I think humans just like enjoy music, or I think music has that. Oh hey, the Gypsy Night, Gypsy Caravan. Welcome everyone. How's it going? I'm making stupid face noises like bleep bloop doodly ding dong blah ba ba doo doo. No, I was yeah, when you guys got here, I was talking about like well, someone asked like why do I very often go like bleep bloop bleep ding dong da ba doo doodly doo blip blop blip bloodly doo. Uh, and so I was just about to say like I think there's actually I think it's because of the human connection to music, like what music means to humans. Like it's comforting in a way. Like when we're nervous, we'll hum or whistle or like it's like it's something that our there's just something very pleasant about music, and so it's like very easy to go there. It's very easy to go to a musical place. Um, riot or riot? Well, um, um, yeah. Oh, sorry. The Gypsy Night. Thank you very much for hosting. And welcome everyone. Yeah. Here just for fun, let's kick it into away mode briefly because away mode's cool. And also, we just missed an event, so I figure like, yeah, why not just facilitate the next one? So there you guys go. It's a little anticlimactic to show up right at the end, right? I was kind of hoping. Well, no, I guess we're not in the village. If we were in the village, there's an off chance that we would have actually gotten the riot event, and that would have been suitable for the. Who is it that said riot or riot? I forget, but no. Instead, oh, it's Melduriac. So, uh, possibly the one event that's more dangerous than a riot is Malduriak. So good luck, guys. Don't get eaten. Don't get eaten by giant Antlions. I was gonna say centipede because in my brain I was like Maldurax is really creepy, so the creepiest thing I can think of is centipedes, but nope, he is an antlion. Super creepy, the creepiest, in fact. Uh, uh, yeah. So the thing is, extra spunky. Like I don't remember being born necessarily. Like I just like if I think back, like I remember being a young person, and I remember like there are plenty of people who'll tell me like, oh yeah, you were born, at such and such a time and date. Like oh, like my mom, for example, she's always like, oh yeah, yeah, you were totally born, and I'm like, it's like I don't have any reason to dis disbelieve, but I also don't, I don't have the firsthand memory or recollection of the events either. So, from everything I've been told, I'm 31 years old. I cannot prove it though. I mean, I have a little, I have a little card, an ID card that says that I'm 31 years old. But that's not, it's not me. That's not me really. That doesn't come from me. It's not firsthand information. So I just want to be clear that, I'm pretty sure I'm all evidence indicates that I'm 31 years old, 21 years old. Wouldn't that be great? Uh, but if you really pressed me on the issue, I don't know if I could prove it. Can they do that with like genetics now? Like, can they do or like is there like a can they like take a core sample of like a human and like tell how old the person is? Like, is that something that can happen yet? All right, am I missing any other questions? I Oh yeah, so core. I think that's why you're always singing. The thing we were talking about earlier about the human relationship with music. I think that's probably why you're always singing. So yeah, I was saying earlier. Now is a really great time for questions because oh yeah, so also for people who who are just getting here, the reason that we're making these little lines on a big blue thing is because we're making a pirate ship. So it'll look roughly like this, and then so these are going to be the oceany wavy things in the background, and yeah, so that's what we're putting in because I'm working on art stuff, and actually that was how we got on the topic of music and bleep bloops as well, is because since I'm working on art stuff, I'm not using like the language centers of my brain very much right now. So like I'm not using it for art. Like art comes from a very different place in the brain, I guess, and so maybe not very different, but at least slightly distinct. Oh yeah, that was actually one thing that I noticed when I was zooming out. Like I don't like these. Hey, that's a new follower noise. Uh, so Hungry TV, welcome, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for following. Uh, so yeah, actually, one of the things I noticed when I zoomed out is that I actually don't like these. Creative, creative. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you for donating. Um, Creative donates $5 and says, "Today is a great day to watch me stream." All right, well that's fantastic because I feel like today's a great day to stream. So we got this. We got the bases covered. Yeah, no, thank you very much for your support and for your generosity. I really appreciate that. So, thank you very much. Oh, and that was the new follower noise. Was it? Could have sworn I heard it. Maybe I missed the message because I was talking so long. If I missed the new follow message, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for following. Welcome to the channel. I'll catch it when it comes up on my other monitor. Hopefully. Sorry. Yeah. So in the distance, and also when these little wavelets are too small, I think we won't have the white crusts on them because like I was just looking at it from a distance, it looked too busy. It looked too like right here, for example. Like these ones were just way too. It just looked like it didn't look like waves. It just looked like little like sharp dots on the water. So like a few more over here. Maybe I won't get rid of it like 100% in all cases, but like I really can't. Like it's just supposed to be like the very little caps. It's not supposed to be a significant percentage. All right, that is definitely the follow noise, right? I'm not hallucinating. Uh, MV Sinclair, thank you very much for following. Welcome to the channel. Um, Oh, Ensley! Thank Thank you very much for following. I'm sorry for missing your notification earlier. I got really distracted, but welcome to the channel. Thank you. Um, am I missing stuff in chat? Let's see. All right. Yeah, I'll try and keep up with chat. And if you do have a direct question for me, it does help also to use. Look at all these notifications. Implete. Thank you very much for following. Welcome to the channel. um, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was saying about how if you use my name in the question that you ask, then it'll highlight in red on my screen, and I do tend to, I'll admit sometimes I'm a little slow at answering questions and like catching up with chat, but when it's in bright red, I oftentimes have a better chance of catching it. So, all right. So yeah. Having toned down some of these like smaller ones that were a little too bright, I am overall liking the visual effect here. So we're on the right path. So we're gonna touch up these waves, and I think I don't. Undead Army Gamer, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for following. Yeah, so I wanted to do an even simpler texture on the background layer. Just something so it's not literally like a flat color. It's gonna be like really simple. It might literally just be two flat colors. Like right? It might just be like we have this color here that that kind of like this. I added this other layer which kind of like because like these colors felt too separated, and I just wanted to add like a tone to like kind of melt between the two. So it might just be as simple as adding one more of those tones or something to the horizon, so that it just like feels a little smoother. One of the weird things about this environment, yeah, I mentioned earlier, there is one open question that I have about this environment, and it is about the layers and specifically the speed of parallax between the layers, because I think I'm going to do something a little bit different where I'm actually not going to put although like typically this like the way I would render a scene like this, like if this wasn't a let's say this wasn't a pirate ship, maybe what if we were like just on the ocean, walking on the ocean somehow. Someone made a thin walkway bridge across the ocean, and if we were just walking across it, I wouldn't have the waves moving very fast, because like there would be no everything would just move at the pace that environments tend to move. Like for example, like as fast as we're moving through the mountains now. You see, like we're walking through the mountains down here on the screen, but we're not walking very fast, right? I mean, like we're not, like the mountains in the background, they stay on screen for quite some time, but because we're in this ship, and because I want to imply movement, I'm going to mess with the speed. And there are a few ways that I can do this. The first way that I'm thinking is a little hacky. Well, it's not hacky. Actually, it's the least hacky way, but it's a little weird, I guess. It's conceptually strange, because instead of adding in like a different instead of adding in different tech to make it like a background with different speeds, I'm going to use some of the tech that we already have, but just kind of like interpret the environment in a different way. So instead of like thinking of the ocean, like these waves, this layer of the ocean as like part of the background proper, it's going to be like a piece overlaid onto the background. So like, I don't know, it's gonna be weird a little bit, but I'm thinking that like, if this works, and it very likely could work, it'll be like the cleanest way to implement the waves. And then I have some backup plans if it doesn't sell, if it looks weird and like oddly juxtaposed and like mishmashed and like it's not working well, there are some other things I can do. Am I using Python 2 or 3? I'm using Python 2, 2.7.9 or something like that. I forget. Yeah, I learned on Python 2, and I had no specific reason to switch to Python 3. Or like there's nothing that I couldn't do in Python 2. So when I started this project, I was like, this project will be very quick, and so I'll just even though I've like never made a project this is like the first big project that I've ever done in Python, and like partly that's because I didn't necessarily plan on it being a big project when I started on it. But yeah, it was entirely satisfactory. I've thought about possibly porting it actually to out of Python. Like I've thought of actually like rewriting it in like a C language, just because like I don't know. Like when I started this project, I was more comfortable with C languages than Python. I was just doing it because I found like a really convenient way to get up and running, like the early steps on the project, like in terms of getting like the chat integration working. Like they were so simple on Python. They're so simple. Like it literally took me, even despite the fact that I've never myself implemented the network functionality for a game before. I've never made a text-based game before. I've never made I've never used IRC or anything. Like I've basically like I've like never even used like IRC like through the client. Like I might have technically once, but like I don't know, just a lot of unfamiliar stuff. And yet, despite all that, just using Python, I was able to get going really fast. So I don't regret that. Although sometimes, or at least for a while, I was thinking like, did I make the right decision there? I don't know. Which Python is better? That's actually an interesting question, because I've literally never used Python 3. Like I said, I learned in Python 2, and this is the first major project that I worked on. So, uh, I, so if I had to guess, I'd say probably Python 3. Python 3 is probably better. From my understanding, like Python 3 existed when I learned Python, but I was taught Python with using Python 2 because the people that had taught me it, the people who knew Python that used Python, they didn't have any. They were in a place when Python 3 had come out that they didn't necessarily need to switch. Like they didn't necessarily need to change to Python 3. Like they were entirely happy or satisfied continuing with Python 2. And I think the reason that without the need to switch, they didn't. Python 3 is not fully backwards compatible with Python 2. So, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. I guess that happens, not, it's not the first time that happened. But, yeah, so some people, because Python 2 was so entirely satisfactory, they're like, yeah, no, we'll stick with this. Uh, so, I don't know. I mean, why would they make Python 3 if it wasn't supposed to be better, right? Well, I mean, I guess that just because you want something to be better doesn't mean it's necessarily is better. I assume there's at least something going for Python 3 that like gives it some advantage, because some people do use Python 3, right? So, unfortunately, I don't know exactly what those things are. I can tell you though that if you want to use Python 2, for whatever reason, you can still use it. It's still a valid choice. All right, am I missing other questions? You're learning C++ right now. I'll finish reading that question in a second. I'm just scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss something. Yakima says Python 3 has all the syntax of Python 2, but all the modules from Python 2 aren't necessarily supported in Python 3 yet. Oh yeah, okay, so maybe they're on there. Maybe they're getting there, working their way through those modules, because there's probably a ton of modules, right? Like Python got really big really fast, so it's probably like a really hairy project to maintain compatibility with or for or on or towards or against or about. I don't know what is the right conjunction or whatever. No, I don't even know what part of the sentence that is. I'll stop talking about that. You're learning C++ right now, and you want to know, can you use Python with C++? And yeah, you know what you should check out? If you don't already follow this other channel, and don't worry, we stream at different times, so you can watch both of our streams. Check out this. Oh, I'll just paste it into chat. Twitch.tv/ check out this channel, because funny you should ask. Twitch.tv/Siege Games is Jason McMorris's channel, and Jason McMorris he's like the lead programmer for Siege Games, and he's the one who streams through their channel. I don't know, maybe sometimes other people do too, but he does most of it. So the reason I mention that is because his project Kriya is written in C++, but so the game itself is written in C++, but all of like the design work, or like, I don't know if that's the right term, but like all of the so like the core like game engine and the game itself is written in C++, but then like it's like so from what I understand, like Kriya I haven't done it myself, which is why sorry, I'm slightly stumbling to describe it, but from what I understand, like basically like there's like Kriya is like one of the cornerstones of Kriya is that it's like very adaptable and like customizable, so like players can I think what players write for the game is the Python. And so I think there's like I think the game itself like ships with Python as well because like basically like the way a lot of the game world is set up like the game like the design content of the world is set up is using Python. So yeah, I have experience with C++ and I have experience with Python. I don't actually have experience with the two, but I would definitely recommend checking out Siege Games Jason's channel because he streams. He's in. I think he's in Australia right now because he streams like at night for me. Like it's daytime for him, but I think it's like so. What I think his streams usually start at like around 11 p.m. my time. So like 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2300 hours Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I don't know what time zones you guys are in, but he also just has a very good channel. So good stream. Implete. Oh, cool. Oh, The Sims 4 uses Python and C++. All right, well there you go. Two fine examples of games that use Python and C++. Uh, um, so, what's the difference between my time and Moscow? Well, as an example, it is 11:26 a.m. right now. So, Moscow, that's probably going to be what? Like in Moscow, it's probably what like 8 p.m. Is it like 2000 hours where you are or in Moscow? I don't know. You might not actually be in Moscow, but I assume that's why you're asking about Moscow. Is it like 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that in Moscow? Because it's because that'd be like a or get like 8:30 or 9:30. That'd be like a 9 hour time difference or something like that. Wait, Moscow 8:20. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So actually, no. It's only like an 8 hour time difference. Nine hour time difference. All right. Wait, no, I was right. I was right. I was partly right. I made like five different guesses, so it does make sense that one of my guesses was correct. Yeah. So I guess so for you, Jason would stream at around. Wait, if it's so yeah. For you, it would be in the early morning. It would be like 8:30 in the morning or like 8 o'clock in the morning. But I think he also streams for like a good time. Like I think I don't know. Well, I know back in the day he used to stream like awesome hours. He was like one of the streamiest streamers there was. I know. I think he keeps pretty good hours. So I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, St. Petersburg. I have been to both of those places. When I was younger, I had an opportunity to visit Russia as like a it was like I was an exchange student, I guess. So I got to yeah, I spent a fair amount of time in St. Petersburg, and then we got to visit Moscow for like a day or two. A day? Maybe just a day. Can you do a day trip to Moscow? I forget if it was 1 or 2 days. This is a long time ago. This is like half my life ago. So, it's a cool place. It's neat because because it was like an exchange program thing. Like, we got to. It wasn't just like tourism because like we had like hosts who kind of like showed us around a little bit and like so we weren't just like left to our own devices. We kind of got like the inside track on like what's cool, what's fun in those places. It was a cool experience. I don't know. For some reason, these like wavy things look a little too flat. The ones in the front do, or they look a little too. They look a little too. Yeah, flat. I don't know. Like I feel like I might want to add like a little bit more depth, or a little. I mean, like I want to add a little more depth. I just don't know exactly how. Maybe I shouldn't have made them so pointed at the top. Maybe I should have made them a little more rounded. Yeah, because it seems. Yeah, I think that might be slightly better. So I'm gonna. Oops, I can't color pick from that orange range. Actually, no. Yeah, no. I can just get rid of the orange range, and then I can color pick from it. All right, so I'm just gonna put in a little more. This will be, I think, the last little nudge that I give this this section. I just like I kind of wanted them to look pointy, so because like they so like yeah, it's supposed to be like a pyramid. It's not supposed to be like a triangle where it's just like completely flat on the edge. It's supposed to be like a pyramid, so it's pointy, but then it also has like depth from the side too. And I think so. I think I just need to uh, I think I just need to bring down the point. So it's not just point. It's like, it's point, but with also like a peaky, like little mountains, like little squishy mountains. I think I used that analogy yesterday. And actually, it's just the ones in the front, because the ones in the back, like because of the width of the line, the brush that I was using, kind of already got this effect. But the ones in the front, maybe I should have used a bigger brush when drawing them. But for whatever reason, they just they didn't get that. Some of them kind of did, which is kind of like what tipped me off. But like some of them were a little bit thin. Oops, not eraser tool. I did not mean to use the eraser tool. Oh, I was not making bleep bloop doodle doop noises, but I apparently have a song stuck in my head, which is weird because I'm literally listening to a different song right now, but I was compelled to sing along to a song that's stuck inside my head. I'm probably just weird like that. That's probably not a real thing. It's probably just me being weird. All right. Do I know C plus C, C plus plus, or other languages? Yeah. So the first language I learned was C plus plus. Not the first one, but the first one I got good at was C plus plus. Good at was C plus plus. And then before I started this project in Python, I was working mostly in C sharp. So yeah, I actually like. I mean, at this point, like I almost feel like maybe Python is like one of the languages that I'm most familiar with, just because of how long I've been working on this project. But before I started on this project, and even earlier on in this project, I would say like, yeah, no, I'm not really a Python developer. I just I mostly work in C languages. So yeah, that's what I do most, I guess. Okay, so I think this is good-ish. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? I got a little bit sparing with the wave lines. All right, we're making progress is the good news. But I just realized there was something that I lost from this effect was the width of some of these. So like some of these smaller ones got like just too narrow, and they're supposed to be a little bit elongated. So I'm not gonna take a million years, but I just want to elongate these a little bit, just a little bit. How does that look? Is that better? Because like the line's a little bit shaky, but I think it's like okay in its shakiness. Because water has a little bit of texture to it. Water isn't like perfectly smooth and flat. Like water gets like there's like a little tumult to it, to the ocean, and so I think if I can be okay. Yeah. I don't necessarily want to connect these actually, but I just want to, yeah. Yeah, so that was the other thing. I think this kind of relates to what I was noticing earlier with like the peaks were too, or like the little ones were too sharp looking, or like they just looked too small. So they were too bright, and because of that they looked like little dots instead of like implying any sort of shape or form. And then they were too narrow, so they didn't. Hey, congratulations! Yeah, it's whoever just leveled up. Yeah, because they were too narrow, they didn't look. They looked like individual flecks in like a mostly. Like it didn't look like there was. It didn't look like there was like surface texture. It looked like there was like a mostly flat surface, and then there was like little these whatever these were. They didn't even look like waves. They just looked like someone like maybe a ship crashed and like a whole shipment of little hats like had floated out into the ocean and were just like floating around in the ocean. There's like little hats everywhere. It's not going to be the cleanest thing, partly because I don't care to go back and keep tweaking and tuning every little thing. But then, yeah, I think it should be mostly good though. I think it should be good enough. I don't think like I think the extent to which it's a little rough around the edges, like I was saying before, it's supposed to seem a bit tumultuous. So that could add to the effect in a good way. Uh, so whoops, I should be not completely sloppy with it though. I should be at least a little bit deliberate with how I'm doing this stuff. All right, let me just check that this is going okay. Yeah, it's a subtle thing, but I do like that better. Uh, so I'll just finish up on this last little chop. This last little chunk o stuff. Do do do. All right, and then yeah. So like I said, texture in the BG, in the back of ground, the lowest of the lowest of layers. Do do do. That's not a moral judgment, by the way. I have nothing against backgrounds. It just happens to be the layer lowest in the hierarchy. Do 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 do. So close. I can taste it. I can taste it, and it tastes like disgusting seawater, but in a very good way. No, these I don't know. I mean, these are seawaters, so yes, it would taste disgusting if there was a taste to it. But I don't know. As far as seawaters go, these ones are pretty cool looking, pretty blue, pretty nice looking actually. I'm just gonna put one more little peak, peeky peek. Whoops. Do do do, and then I don't know why I did the two brush size thing again. I could have just done the whole thing in one, whatever. But no, that's fine. Okay. Good then. There's the ocean. Beautiful, beautiful, clear seas, ocean. I don't know. Whatever pirates say. So the oh, sorry, I zoned slightly zoned out of chat. Maybe I know some good game dev books for C++. Ah, no. I wish I did. I'm not a very booky person, and I'm like between books and internet resources. I tend to go to internet resources, and also in terms of like low level stuff. I don't have as much time with the low level stuff. So while I have like a lot of well, I really enjoy like I enjoy low level like conceptual like programming things, but I'm more of a generalist in that regard. So in terms of like game specific stuff, I'm not certain. Like in terms of just like general programming type stuff, I again it wouldn't be books that we're recommending. So sorry. Uh, but maybe other people in chat have suggestions for good C or C++ books about programming for like game engines. I don't know. I'm probably not doing a very good job of rephrasing the question, but something along those lines perhaps. All right, so we're good with this, and I'll want to test this in game pretty soon. Because oh, except that I kind of can't, because like I said, there's a lot of tech that I have to do in order to get this to work. So I'll probably need to make like a hacky version of the script. Before I do that, though, I will give a stab at the background layer. I don't like I can take some chance. What is layer? Oh, layer A is this guy. I can take like some shot at like what the background layer is going to be like. So what are the differences between these two colors? These two colors are what? This one is so it's the difference between 7454 and 6641. So it loses a lot of saturation, which is what I was noticing. So whatever I accent whatever I accent the top of this with, it should be lower on. Oh yeah, that's a good question. 2D or 3D? Because the math like the programming and the math are very different depending on what of those game types you plan on making. Yeah, so I want to drop. Excuse me, I want to drop a lot of the saturation. Wow, like 30 whole points of saturation, and like increase like by 11 points of value or thereabouts. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact because the numbers don't actually scale exactly like that. But let's see what that does. So 38 and 86, I guess. Let's see how that looks. All right, uh, so it would look like that. That still seems really saturated, actually. I dropped the saturation down by a lot, but it still seems really saturated. And I think it's partly because the backgrounds tend to be even more desaturated. So I'm going to actually make it a lot more desaturated. I should also be using like a slightly bigger brush. Maybe more desaturated, less... Oh, that's the other thing, is I tend to have less contrast, so... Huh. I could just rebalance the colors altogether. Huh. Let me look at this. Yeah, maybe I should drop some of the saturation out of this layer, because the other thing about it is that yeah, I'm gonna drop some of the saturation out of this layer just because this layer is supposed to represent like all. Oops, wrong layer. I was desaturating this guy. This layer is supposed to represent like all the way to the horizon, and as you move to the horizon, these crests, these desaturated crests and the saturated depths are going to like become so indistinct that they just kind of like melt together. So I think this layer overall will read a bit less saturated than we had it. It might read a little bit brighter though. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it in the context of the full image. So let's bring back the near ground layer, the crates, the sugar one at the adventures. Door height is not an important layer. All right, so yeah, here's like part of our pirate ship. Hue and saturation. Yeah. Drop down the saturation. Bring up the lightness. Oop, a little too far, possibly in both directions. This is supposed to be the horizon of the sea. I think that could look okay. And then, yeah. So then, so I'm just like, well, no, you know what? I mean, the other thing about it is that it was very light in the, I'm just thinking back to the reference images. And I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do texturally here, but like, yesterday we were looking at like what, so like, it was, yeah, so like ocean, I can spell, ocean, horizon, we're looking at these images, and yeah, I guess it doesn't always, no, I guess sometimes it stays like less darkly colored. I was like looking at some examples where it got like much lighter in the horizon, but I guess, I don't know, I shouldn't try and force that, because like, if I'm trying, if it's not looking right and I'm trying to make it look that way anyways, that's like not necessarily a good thing. So, huh? I guess one thing I need to kind of answer is like, am I making the lighter tone or the darker tone? I'm probably making the lighter tone actually. So yeah, I'll make the lighter tone as such. Something like that, or actually maybe in slightly more desaturated, because it's in the background and it represents the crest. So that's too desaturated. It's a very fine line that we're walking here. I'm gonna try something like this, which looks weird, right? It looks weird right now, but the other thing that I'm gonna do is pick another mid-tone. And then I'm also going to put in another layer just in case I don't like what I'm doing or I need to feel like I need to adjust it. So that's a little too similar. Let's choose a slightly lighter tone. Like this one maybe. That could be okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to draw individual waves on this layer. I'm basically just going to if I can get it, I want to draw like just basically like a slightly horizontally striated pattern, just to represent like some degree of like of uh of like not flatness in the background. So I think it'll be something like that. It's not very, it's not very detailed, but it's not supposed to be very detailed. So uh uh dealing with streams. uh uh Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat real quick. uh oh, what is a 1D? I actually, I'm gonna reveal like a bit of my not my biases, but like my inclinations in programming. Could you talk more about what are the challenges involved with converting a 1D stream of data into higher, for example? Um, I would be interested in hearing more about that. Uh, because that's not something that I think about as much. Again, like I said, I'm not like disinterested in low level programming. I find it really useful to like really dig as deep as you need to in order to get the desired effects. Because sometimes higher level stuff just doesn't work the way you would personally prefer it to work, and that's fine. Oh yeah, loops. I still need to do loops. I can't forget about loops. Um, but yeah, this texture should go really fast. Uh, and this isn't the full. This isn't everything. I'm not just going to make these slashy lines across it. I think I'm gonna come back and like erase it a little bit, like just to get a slightly a finer grain. Because I'm still using a size 4 brush, and while this does, this does a lot of good. I'll want to go in and do a slight bit of finer detail. Do 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 do. And la 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 la. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about anything. I'm just making weird face noises. Um, as has been prophesied, or as we talked about earlier. Um, so, do do do. 2D coordinates of an object stored as. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, sure. Like, yeah. I tend to, I can be a bit brutish with like how I deal with memory sometimes. Well, I mean, one of the nice things that so one of the things that I like works for me that and like I guess I'm one thing that I'm kind of like saved from that a lot of people can't just like kind of like wash their hands of is like a level of like of concern or optimization for some things that like at that like the sort of things that you're discussing that well, so like I don't know, although I I like games that push the limit. I like games that like literally like expand and like broaden like what games can do and what games like can achieve technically. Technical achievement, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't tend to like that's not me. That's not my wheelhouse though. Like I if I ever win an award for technical achievement, it's going to be very surprising. Which, like I said, it's not that I don't care about low level stuff. It's just that when I care about low level stuff, it's because I have a very specific idea of like what like pointed thing I want to accomplish, and so that's when I dig in. I dig in when when I'm going to like make a very targeted strike against some some low level aspect of the what it is that I'm making what like the yeah like for example I'll write my own physics systems, right? Even though there's like a perfectly satisfactory physics system like satisfactory physics system like it just irks me when I'm using someone else's physics as an example. Physics for me, physics is like my pet peeve. So I'm using the example of physics, but it is when I'm doing this, it is usually the physics system that I'm rewriting. Like it's great when you have like a physics solution available to you for use in whatever it is that you're working on, and you can save a bunch of time. You don't have to do it yourself. I just get so peeved when like there's a little bug in the physics that like doesn't make sense to me. Like I just don't agree with it. It doesn't feel like it makes the physics feel incorrect to me. And it doesn't even it's not just like it doesn't feel like a quirk of the physics system. It feels literally like the physics are bad. And like that's like it's gotten to the point that like I don't even expect to use physics from any other like yeah I like I don't even yeah no I don't even always evaluate physics. I just sometimes I'll just like expect to write my own. So physics uh um yeah, so the thing about that though is that I do get a little bit brutish because like when I'm like slamming in my own like physics solution. I've said the word physics like 500 times in the last 2 minutes, but whatever. When I'm slamming in my own solution, I don't know. There are, if you've never done physics before, let me tell you, there are a few vectors involved in physics. So, there's one or two, several I would say, and so yeah, I don't know. Maybe like that's probably something. Whoa, stop! Oh, you stupid program! Why do you do things like that? Sometimes it's just like, oh, you want to scroll all the way to the edge of the screen, despite the fact that your stylus is not even touching your tablet. It's like, no, obviously I don't want to do that, but whatever. All right. Yeah. Considering how much of that stuff I do, it probably would be wise of me to, get a little more involved in like management of like of data streams, like the stuff that you were talking about, Killer Q. I Yeah, so then the other thing is like, oh yeah, so like I was saying with technical achievement is that like I don't tend to push the envelope or push like the edge of what games can do. My games could probably run on computers that are like 10 years old, and I do that intentionally because like if you make a game that like is like cutting edge technology. Well, no, I guess that's not a good excuse. I was gonna say like because my games are compatible with older systems. Actually, I mean in some regards that's actually a better reason to be very like highly optimizing stuff. I guess yeah, no. I guess what I meant is that. So yeah, no. I guess that's not why I don't stress about it as much. But like, I guess I shoot so low that like I actually hit a very low bar typically. I I don't know. Then the reason I don't end up doing that stuff a lot of the time is because I I just I just get more I'm more productive, or I accomplish more interesting things. Like the things I accomplish, if I instead focus on like systems design, then I yeah. All right. It's the same reason I don't spend time like on low level animation, and by low level animation I mean animating more than 2 frames per second. Yeah. It's kind of the curse of being a generalist is that like as much as I'd love to like tear into all of those things and really like understand them on a fundamental level, the amount that I get out of doing that is not always commensurate with the amount that I would put in order to, like the amount of stuff I would have to not do in order to get that time. So instead, I just have a long roster of excuses, as we've heard here today. Okay, we're almost done. So close to done. This is what I'm doing here is a little more finely textured than I typically do in these backgrounds. So I don't know, that might come back to bite me, but it's also between two very soft tones, so I think I'm a little okay with it. It might come back to bite me though. And actually, these tones are very soft. I might even want to bump up the contrast a little bit, just relative to everything else that's going on in the scene. All right, so almost there. Whoops, not that. We're getting there. So close. So close to the edge. Oh, sorry, I missed a question, didn't I? Which program should you use so you can't so much programming, but you can make art? Uh, I missed that question. You asked it a while ago, and I noticed that probably other people have answered the question already. Um, uh, so Unity, yeah, that's a good one. Unity, Construct 2, I've heard really good things about. Um, Game Maker Studio. I thought you had to like code for Game Maker Studio. Like I didn't think they had like visual programming stuff. But yeah, I know for Unity and Construct 2, like those are two where they're like there are options where you don't have to, like you can program, but you don't. I mean, you can code if you want to, but all you really have to understand is like programming. Uh, oh, yeah, avoiding programming altogether is going to be difficult. Avoiding coding is easy. You don't have to code in order to program. I mean, like if you don't program anything, then you're not going to have software. You're just going to have a piece of art because all software is programming. But there's like yeah. So with some of the suggestions that people are giving, you can definitely minimize the amount of programming that you have to do. And when I say programming, I literally just mean telling the game how to work. Like not you don't have to like you don't have to do like you don't have to know syntax or uh, or like any you don't have to deal with any languages or anything. It's basically just a matter of like the game will be like, and what do you want to do with this? And you tell it like I want this to be a character, and when you press this button, the character moves, and the game's like, all right, so when you press this button, this character moves. Um, so yeah, right. So instead of having to be like, you know, like whatever in whatever other solution you would be using, like trying to figure out like, okay, so what is the where the how are the inputs handled? Like what is the like where how are we processing the input data and like what are our conditionals for the various input types and blah blah, blah. Yeah. So yeah, I would if that's like the direction that you'd like to go with your game dev, like more art focused, less programming focused, then those are good options, I'd say. Uh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, so with this layer, like I think I washed it out a little too much, and so because there's so much fine detail, I probably won't want to bump up the contrast too high. But like right now, you like almost can't perceive the detail. So, oh wait, I just remembered. Those are two separate layers. So wait, instead I'd want to be doing what? I'd want to be doing. Oh, I guess well I'll just squish them together. I might unsquish them and undo it just to if I have to change it. But for starters, I'm going to uh, increase the contrast. That's pretty good actually. I was gonna say decrease the brightness, but I think that's actually pretty good. Uh, not that high. It's like that. I think I like that. So this is our ocean, uh, and this is our ship, and these are our adventures, and so yeah. So now to finish up the boat. Oh, I think I might want to do seagulls, but those are gonna be really quick. Uh, I might not do seagulls. Yeah, because if I did seagulls, it would look really weird. So maybe I'll come back and do seagulls later. But I am using PyCharm for Python. Uh, so thank you, Killer Q. I think you're the first person to actually like compliment the animation style of this game. So many people are like, why is the frame rate so low? Why is the frame rate so low? When are you going to improve the frame rate? Like, if you could just improve the frame rate if you did this, this, and this. But I think what a lot of people don't understand or don't think through is that who cares? Like, who cares? Like, it's really obvious, like, oh, this is a low frame rate. And then, like, so, like, brain go, low frame rate, more frame, better. And, like, it's a really easy, like, assumption to make, but I really don't think the game would be materially improved. Which is like we were saying before, it's about like choosing how to spend your time. So I will answer more questions, but I'll start like drawing cannons and stuff as I answer those questions. Uh, so if you want to make games, but you know how to make art better, we just spent a lot of time answering that question, didn't we? If you want to make games, but you know art more than programming, oh, find people to program. that's an option as well. There's nothing wrong with teaming up, but that wasn't the question, so I didn't answer that question. That's a valid answer to a question that nobody asked, or that hadn't been asked yet. So okay, thank you. Can I make a 3D zombie game in Unity Plus and are Unity free? Yeah, I can do that. You can do that. Anyone can do that. That is a thing that can be done. Uh, so, oh. Well, whatever. I don't call it JetBrains IDE. I call it PyCharm. Uh, okay. Uh, so, uh, okay. So let's yeah, look up cannons, I guess. Ship cannon, I guess. Can we see one in context? Oops, this one's kind of in context. Um, how come I looked up ship cannon and it shows us all these like cannons like in the abstract? It doesn't show us any cannons like it shows us like almost no cannons like actually in the boat itself. It's kind of a little weird, in my opinion. uh, all right, these are enough references though. This one's actually really good. Do do do. All right, so let's. I'm just gonna position this so that I can see it while working. I'm gonna position it a little bit better so I can see it while working. And yeah, yeah. And then position it slightly better so I can see it while working. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, canons. Canonical. Whatever. I just pulled up that reference for cannons, but I'm actually not going to do that first. First thing I'm gonna clean up these crates, and then I'm probably gonna do the portholes, and then we can come back and do the cannons at some point. Because yeah, the crates I just slammed in so hastily that like when I slammed them in, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna keep them. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with them exactly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point I probably will keep them. So might as well clean them up. So it's mostly just a matter of like making the edges like pointy, because like I just the way I left them, they were all like very rounded. Because I drew this all with like a very thick brush. So now I just want to go. Whoops. I just want to go through and make sure the lines that are supposed to be there are here, and the lines that aren't supposed to be there are gone. Oops, I used the wrong color. Do do do. Oh, chat, and I'm not paying attention. So, let's see. Hmm. Uh, Thank you, Bengalinksy. Sorry, I missed it when you said it, but thank you very much. um, I Yeah, one of the nice, I guess, like maybe the reasons I haven't noticed any memory issues so far working on side quests is that side quest is supposed to be very relatively light. I mean, I am using a bit more memory for art than I probably should. So it's probably something that I can't just like disregard it completely, but it's something that I don't. Oh shoot, what is? Sorry, I have like mixed matched horizon lines or like the ooh yeah, no, these angles are way off. Whoops. All right, so hold on. Let's fix that before I go too far with the wrong direction, because that's going to change a lot of this geometry. Yeah, no, this should be flatter across the top. Shouldn't be quite so angled down. Yep. All right, that's better. And same on this side. Just generally flatter. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Whoops. Don't mind me. Alright, so we're getting there. Making progress. Might have been easier to just redraw these boxes from scratch, because then I wouldn't have to like tidy up the old lines. I could just draw in new lines. New and better lines. The best lines, in fact. Top tier lines. 10/10 lines. Wow, look at all this chat. Does Python let me manage memory myself? Yes. Yes. If I wanted to be, I don't actually spend that much time managing memory, but if I wanted to, I could. Okay, so I say yes because there are some things you can do. I'm not gonna say like I don't like I said before that like memory management is like one of those things that doesn't really fall under my forte. So it might not do it as well as other as like as some people might be as some people might prefer or some people might be familiar. But I know you can like you can you have some control. I'll just put it that way. um, yeah. I yeah, the reason I went with Python, like I said before, is because it's easy. And actually, one of the reasons I was thinking like maybe I should have gone with a language other than Python is because at a certain point I started to worry like, is it too easy? Like, did I make the wrong choice? Like, did I accidentally opt into something too simplistic when what I might have wanted for the project was actually like a greater level of depth? And I don't know that exactly. I don't have. I guess maybe like once I'm done with the project and like once I know I've actually reached like what the project once it's reached its final form, I guess like maybe then it'll be easier to say like was it the right move, was it not. Right now I had like early in the project I had lingering concerns as to, like whether this was right. So far I haven't been disappointed yet. Like I haven't run into anything that has like led me to definitively think like no, this was wrong, or yes, this will be perfect forever. So we'll see. We shall see. Sorry, I saw chat scrolling and I didn't respond to it everything immediately. So, so um, in Russia, I hope PCs. Wait, what was the question? C Sharp is to programming languages what Russia is to countries. Okay. um, uh, um, so yeah, no, I don't think you're gonna. So Yakumas, I think the answer is no. In terms of like comparing Python to C++, I don't think you're gonna get that. What's different? It's weird and different. I guess I haven't explored enough of it. So maybe actually I can't say for certain that the answer is no, that you can't manage memory the same way, but I know there are like some. Does someone else answer the question? No, there's something you can do. Yeah, right. So for example, there's no garbage collection. um, so in terms of like managing memory, like it's a bit manual, um, but to me, like I don't know. Yeah, well, so all right, yeah, I guess I mean maybe I should clarify because like when I'm talking about like what you can do, I always mean like what you're able to do personally, like as an individual working on a thing. If the question is like what will it do for you, then the answer is very little. You have to do a lot of it yourself. But if that is your question, if the question is like what can you personally do using the language, then I think the answer is uh, I think because you're kind of like you're kind of responsible for your memory usage. I think you can do it how you want it. I guess I would say. Again, like that's just from what I've seen of using it. Someone who's like a scholar in that was way too bright, by the way. Someone who's like a Python scholar or like an engine like engine programmer would probably know way better than myself. Alright, that color is better. I should also be using a much bigger brush. I don't know why I'm still using such a small brush. I guess because I went from working on fine detail to working on fine detail. But no, let's stop doing that. So brush. Doop doop. Doop doop doop. Yeah, so I'd always planned on putting like like lighting on these portholes. I just got distracted with other stuff. I guess I do need to do a little bit of detail here. A little bit of detail work just to get these portholes looking portally. This is too small of a brush. Brush size 3 should be fine. All right. That's fine. It's not supposed to be like dramatic or anything. It's just supposed to be like to add a little bit of depth to the view. I'm probably missing questions in chat, so hold on. Let me look at that real quick. Real quick. So yeah. So trying to like look at chat and draw at the same time, so that's why my eyes are like darting back and forth. Can you mod PS3 game? And if there are PS3 games that were also released on PC, and you can mod them there. You can mod Little Big Planet, kind of. That's a PC or a PS3 game. So it's a lively chat day. I really like it when we're having like interesting conversations about like, especially about game dev related stuff, because a lot of times we have interesting conversations and they're just about like anything, but like it's nice to actually be talking about game dev and have a lively chat channel. So thank you all for being such interesting conversationalists. Because the channel is a little bit lively, the one thing that happens is that I am more likely to miss questions. Just when the faster chat moves, the more likely I am to miss questions. So I will say, if I'm not like right now, I'm not trying to dodge any questions. So if I haven't answered your question or if I haven't answered it fully, do feel free to ask again. Which isn't to say that other times I do try and dodge questions, but there are some questions that I've dodged. Like I said, it's not always about game dev. Some people, some people, prefer talking about other things, which is fine, you know, to an extent. All right. All right, there are two more holes. Oh wait, I should color pick so that I can use the color palette consistently. I assume that looks okay. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe I should put like a. Maybe I should like. If I wanted to get silly, I could actually like put spotlights on the floor from where the portals from their portholes. I don't even know if these are called portholes. I keep calling them that, but whatever these things, these windows, from like where they would let light in. I don't feel like I need to do that though. I think that would probably be more confusing than anything. It just look like weird spots on the ground, I think. So probably won't, but I could if I wanted to. Doop doop. So, let's see. Yeah. So yeah, cannons, rope. I'm just thinking ahead. Cannons, rope. Those posts, they're just like posts that like ropes get attached to, I guess, that stick out of boats, I guess. They just kind of like hang out on boats. That was not a very good description, but I'm just like listing things that I'll probably want to. Something happened to chat. So everyone was young at some point, and I have moments where like I'll want to ask a question, and it'll take me really long to realize that, oh wait, no, I could just ask Google this question. So I'm if people ask a question that is easily Googleable, sometimes well, there's, I mean, that's what like let me Google that for you is for, right? But oh yeah, let's not tell people to shut up. That's not appropriate. So uh, I'm going to I'm going to rinse the chat. I'm just gonna rinse the chat channel, I think. Uh, so let's keep the conversation friendly, shall we? Uh, that's everyone's responsibility. I'm not calling out anyone particular person. Um, Although it was clearly some, or one or more particular person was the instigating cause of the reset. Okay. Uh, so, let's, yeah, portals. Portals! Uh, again, I should stop calling them that because I don't know if that's what they're called. But these things, these are the things I affectionately term portholes. I'll say this is the left side of the ship. Because if it's the left side of the ship, then that would be the port, right? That's how ships work. And then it's totally the left side of the ship because the front of the ship is in that direction. So this is the port side of the ship, and these are holes in the port side of the ship. So even if these are not typically called portholes, I think it's not 100% inaccurate to call them portholes. that is my rationale for calling these things what I'm calling these things. Rationale or justification, depending on whether I'm right or not. Okay, that's fine. And so yeah, the deck is very plain right now. I mean the deck's very plain, so I could like. No, I was gonna say I could put like floorboarding in, but I don't think that level of detail is gonna be very appropriate. I think once I start putting other things like more crates, I could put more crates on the deck. Excuse me, and then I could Thank you, Yakumus, for having my back on that. So, Better Twitch TV is a third-party modification. So, actually, what's happening there is that chat is getting moderated, but because of the interference of your third-party program, your chat is malfunctioning. Is what's happening there. Yeah. If you don't like that, stop using Better Twitch TV. But I'm not actually telling you to stop using Better Twitch TV, because Better Twitch TV is fine, and I use it as well. What I'm saying is, if you don't like something that's happening with respect to your use of it, that's on you. That's on you. I bring that up not just for the sake of saying that's on you, but also because no, I literally I can't moderate around third-party extensions. Like Better Twitch TV doesn't have like a moderator tool that lets me clear it, so I that is not within my arsenal. So it's not something that I like. It's not that I'm not doing it; it's that I can't do it. So, yeah, that's why I kind of say you're on your own in that regard. Oops, that was the wrong layer. It doesn't super matter at this point. I can smush these layers at this point. Yeah, I think I will. And then yeah, sorry. I just earlier I made like a quick modification to like the door frame, and I never actually went back and like tidied it up completely. So I was just doing that a little bit. Actually, you know what? I think this should have like the resolving post. It's kind of an illusion though, because like it resolves into the color of the interior of the building. So actually, maybe that looks weird. Maybe it looks better unresolved. Yeah, it probably looks better unresolved. Okay. So. Can you mod a Steam game? Yeah, you can mod Steam games, right? I mean, like, because like you can get Skyrim on Steam and then mod it like crazy, right? I assume you can. I've never done it personally, but I assume you can. Uh, yeah. Okay, so first I'm just gonna spec out what the props are gonna be like. I guess I'm just gonna quickly slam them in, and then I'll go and clean them up. So I guess I didn't have to clean up the crates yet, but whatever. So let's let's do what? Let's add a new layer. Or no, I'm just gonna use the crates layer. The crates layer is basically gonna be the props layer. Oh, oops, my mouse is on the wrong computer. I was like, why is my mouse not working? What's layer 11? Oh, that was just for, whatever. Yeah, okay. Near ground. Yeah, so the crates layer. How about this underneath the near ground layer? Okay, so I'm thinking like, yeah, I don't want to go overboard with it. Overboard, get it? Because it's a ship? No, that's dumb. I'm not claiming credit for that. I'm not even gonna call that a pun. I'm just gonna move on and hope no one paid too close attention to what was said. This is just there. Okay, so slightly bigger brush. Let's go in and like, so cannon. I don't know. We'll probably have like 3 cannons maybe. So like we can have a cannon here. Have like a cannon here. We have like a cannon here. I don't want to just go symmetrical with like the the crates. I don't want to just put crates on the other side. So maybe we could put like a ladder. Oh, we could put stairs in here. We could put stairs leading up to the upper deck. So I guess maybe I shouldn't have merged those layers because I'm if I have stairs here, I'll probably want to cut away part of the the railing up there, but whatever. So stairs. So I should probably move the cannons a little bit, which is why I'm speccing some of the stuff out up front. So that if I have to make adjustments, it's easy enough to shift around. So like, I don't know, probably more like like this. Oh, there's also the foreground layer, which I can put props on as well. So I'll make a new layer for the props on the foreground layer. So this will be FG props. And then I'll rename the crates layer to near ground props. G props. Okay, and then so yeah, there'll probably be more crates somewhere, but maybe just like miscellaneous. Oh, you know what? Actually, there should be crates on the foreground layer, because that's a fine thing to just kind of have like lying around for like so the foreground layer is the difference between these is that it's like so if I put things on this layer, the adventurers walk behind them, whereas if I put things on the other layer, the adventurers walk in front of them. So just to make it look like there's a little more depth to the scene. So yeah, I can put so the one thing about this scene that's like different from the others is that these props won't actually parallax relative to each other. They're always going to stay fixed. So like however I lay out the composition, I'll want to consider that. Usually I just have to only consider the layers independently, because they'll scroll relative to each other, so they'll never line up quite the same. So they'll line up like basically every different way. But yeah, no, here it's going to be consistent. So that's something to keep in mind. I could I should add those posts. Those like they're just these like posts that they have like handly things coming out of them. Because you grab onto the handly things and you like walk in circles, and then there's like a rope that like wraps around it. So I'm gonna do a better job of like rendering it, but there should be, I think probably at least like 2 of these somewhere in this scene. So maybe one of them can be. I think they're for like bringing up anchors. Oh, an anchor, right? Yeah. Anchors go on the front of a boat. Anchors go on the front of a boat, and the front of the boat is over here. So. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I can just like. Oh wait, maybe I should put one of these near it though. Yeah, so actually maybe one of these like twirly things should go. Oh shoot, I've been zoned out of chat. Sorry, let me catch up on that real quick. I think you are a pretty cool person, Impleet. Um, uh, so someone asked an interesting question in chat once, although it turned out not to be the question I thought it was. One time someone asked, like, if I could understand one language, like, magically perfectly, what would it be? And I think apparently I misunderstood the question because the person was actually asking about like spoken languages, but I replied that uh, that what like oh yeah, that I wanted to know machine code because it's just like I'm never going to learn it. Like I'm it'd just be neat to be able to like completely understand that for free, like just get that for free because I feel like it would be like I don't know. I feel like by having like by knowing like what I do now and also that like I would then have like sufficient coverage to like understand like most things, and then sorry, I was just reminded of that because uh, we were talking about assembly. Uh, so yeah, I'm never gonna know it though. I mean, I might. My life might take a dramatic turn, and that might happen someday. I just don't. If you're placing bets on it, like, yeah, yeah, Yakimus is there. Uh, all right. So, oh man, you actually know some. That is that is amazing. I've seen people like write. I forget what it was. It was something like so intensely low level. So a streamer was doing it once, and it was just perplexing. Like I was watching what they were doing, and I like it was really like it just felt very alien and very foreign to me. Like I understood like roughly what was happening, I thought, but like in terms of like why anything was happening, I had no clue. Like why they were doing all the things that they were doing, like I'm not the person to answer that. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking of putting a uh, that like there. I guess actually I need a new props layer because I might need a new props layer. So this is our color of metal. One of our metal colors. So yeah, so for the anchor, I'm thinking like I don't know if this is like realistic. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, whoops. Yeah, I was like, I thought I was drawing under the ocean, but no, it's just because I was drawing with a selection thing. It wasn't, it wasn't letting me draw outside of the selection thing. I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but I'm just thinking like basically like having the anchor like just kind of hanging out like this. It's big. It's dramatic. It has, you know, it's a very recognizable addition to the scene. I don't even know if this is what anchors look like necessarily, but oh yeah. And so I was thinking I might need a separate layer for it because it's actually not supposed to go over the deck. It's supposed to go like under the deck. Also, it's supposed to get shaped better than this. I did a very poor job of shape. Whoops, no, wrong tool. I did a very poor job. Well, no, wrong tool. Brush tool, not eraser tool. You jerk. Uh, I did a really whoa wow yeah no I did a really poor job of shaping. Um, I also didn't want it to go quite so high, anyways. So, oh, not that much, not that far. Uh, yeah, more like this, I guess. And then, so anchors also have like that cross bar that goes across. So, I don't know, something like that. Uh, and oh yeah, so the head of the anchor. I don't know. I don't know if that's how you'd like pull an anchor onto a boat, but that's how we did it here, apparently. Uh, oh wow, no, this is still just an absolute mess. Whoops, wrong tool. Uh, whatever. I'll probably change this a bit. Oh, I know what's wrong. It's too. It's not foreshortened. It should be. It should not come out so far. Yeah, it should be like more U-shaped. So it should come in further faster. I think I was like making it so arcing and sweeping because I wanted it to be like really dramatic, but it doesn't need to be that big to be dramatic. Yeah. Okay. Uh, do do. Uh, um. Sorry. Just. Uh. Yeah. Okay. So anchor. Anchor can. Oh yeah, these are cannons. So there should probably be cannonballs. Probably not right there, because that's like too clumpy. We can put like we can put one of those pallets with like, or the pallet should be wooden, but we can put like a wooden pallet with like a big stack of cannonballs, like one of those pyramid cannonball stacky things. You know the ones I'm talking about. Uh, whatever. Something like that, except not as sloppy. And then, yeah, rope. There should just be a lot of rope. Oh yeah, rope. So hypothetically, the cannons and like I kind of have like two different stains of wood here. Like the boat itself is like a deeper stained wood, whereas like the rest of the wooden supplies that I'm putting in here are like they tend to be like a lighter shade of. So rope. I would have made it a lighter shade. Maybe I should just make it an even lighter shade than this wood here. But like, uh, yeah, they're all in a very similar family of like color palette. Maybe I should make it. Maybe I should make it like more yellowed, instead of like orange. Maybe I should make it like what if I took a very similar color, lightened it up slightly, maybe desaturated it slightly, but then like shifted it away from red a little bit, like into like a tan, like a no, that just looks that could be okay. So there should be a little darker. Shouldn't be quite so light. Uh, yeah, that could be okay, I guess. Uh, so like yeah, coils of rope. Uh, some of them like draped overboard, rope coiled around. Oops, wrong layer. Rope coiled around these things. And of course I will shade these. They're not just gonna be like these weird ghostly silhouette things. Oh yeah, there should be rope. Yeah, actually I'm not gonna put this spinny thing right in front of the anchor. Actually, how do I want to do this? Maybe I'll put the spinny thing back over in this other direction. Because the anchor, I want the anchor to be a big deal too. So I'm actually going to move the cannons back in the other direction as well. So that'd be in this layer. Oops. Deselect. Select this range here. Slide these back. Or actually, wait, hold on. Don't be selecting as much of this because I want to slide it's back in this direction. Oh, I guess I could have slid the anchor at the same time, whatever. Well, no, I don't want to slide the anchor quite as far. I'll slide, yeah, actually, maybe I should just do one fewer cannon. Yeah, because I don't want to slide them too far. Wait, did I get rid of two? Oh no, the other cannon's over here. Alright, so the cannonball should be between the two cannons. Yeah, because I don't know, there were too many big features. I want I want to leave a little bit of room for like detailing on the deck itself. Like putting in like some of the framework of the boat, like some support beams and like stuff like that, just so that because the boat right now looks very flat. It's literally just like flat color, flat color, flat color, and so I want to do a little bit. Although I mean, that's not going to be interesting. Like no one's going to like go on a boat and be like, "Wow, look at how like how there's a little bit of detailing on this otherwise empty boat." Like no one's going to. I don't know. Some people might be impressed by that. Like texture artists, I guess, might be impressed by that. But even texture artists aren't going to be impressed by the art that I'm putting together. So, no, I think the better. Okay, wait. So I'll move the anchor a little further out, like this. Oops, I cut off part of the crates. I'll move the anchor a bit further out, and then I will actually put the I will put the spinny thing back towards the crates in the other direction. Because I want the anchor. Like I think on boats, like anchors go closer to the front of the ship. So I want it to be somewhat close to the front of the ship, but I'll have a little bit of spacing. All right, so just because I think like it makes more sense, or I just prefer the composition. Oops, wrong layer. I just prefer the composition as such. Uh, and then these are more crates, so these can go. Oh, these are both more crates, so these can go like. I don't literally want to like alternate between the two layers, but I also kind of do. So it's like the crates in the background. There's a spinny thing in the foreground. There's the anchor in the background. There's the crates in the foreground. There's the cannon in the background. Crates in the foreground. Cannonballs in the background. Like it's not literally alternating, but like actually kind of is. um, kind of is. So I'll break the pattern here because I don't want it to be like I said. I don't want it literally to be that way. I'll just move this one. I'll slide this one down. So then there'll be the cannon, there'll be some rope, there'll be some stairs, and then yeah, so a lot more rope because there's just tons of rope on a boat, right? Uh, oh yeah, sorry, I zoned out of chat for a little bit, but that's the other thing is like software. We talk about like low level stuff in software programming, and then you talk to like a mechanical engineer, and all of a sudden like all the software is so high level, like all of a sudden assembly is so high level. Uh, but whatever. Mechanical engineering, I think, is another one of those things that like I find it interesting. It would be neat to understand like in a very thorough capacity like how all that stuff works. I'm never going to personally do that. Like I personally won't understand that, but I do get how other people find that entertaining. Uh, so this anchor, it's not going to make much sense. Cause like, why is it just resting like that? Is it really just like hanging out like that? I could just like take artistic liberty and say yes. It's just hey, congratulations to those of you who leveled up. I could just take artistic liberty and say, yeah, it's just precariously balanced as such. Uh, I don't know. I think it doesn't necessarily make sense for it to be like just like resting like that. Because like yeah, what I was thinking is I would make so I would add rope to it, but like I wouldn't add rope like tying it down or anything. It would be like rope. It'd be rope like just kind of like slackly attached to it, like and then like coiled up or something. Like that doesn't make any more sense. That doesn't. That makes zero sense. um, but I might just call that like artistic liberty. I might just say, whatever. Uh, but yeah, there'll be like a big pile of rope next to it or something. um, Marty, I have considered adding visual effects. Uh, like I've talked about this a few times. I've talked about right now, like you know how in the snowy forest it's snowing. I'm considering taking the snow out of the snowy forest and making it something that can happen anywhere, basically. Not literally anywhere, but like yeah, kind of like you're like what you like you. So in the example you gave, like make it so that the earth literally shakes. I don't think I'm gonna do that, but like what I could do is like so like there's an event that mentions fire, so I could make like I can make like I can make like snow, rain, fire. Evening is one that I think I could do. I don't think I could do nighttime. That would be difficult. But I could do like evening. I could make it like dimmer lighting, um, and I'm not even sure I can do evening. I'm thinking I might be able to do. Um, yeah, because I was thinking like sometimes it might be nice to have those happen on cue, and then yeah, like it could snow other places. Like it's not like and like there are a bunch of places it could rain. There's like yeah, there's stuff that would make this. So I'm thinking of doing something like that. It's not urgent though. I might if I do that, I'll do it down the line. Uh, so uh, thank you, Killer Q. Um, so uh, yep. Sorry. Um, I this is not a PvP game, except to the extent that, well, this is a PvP game the same way every tabletop game is a PvP game. Like, there's nothing to stop people from turning on each other. Like, you can be like, you all have so far have been like nice to each other, I guess, but there's nothing really to stop. And actually, that's not even true. I never know if people are doing it intentionally, but like oftentimes people will sabotage events, and like no one's ever like come out and said like, "Gah, ha ha! I am evil and I'm sabotaging your events. I am an evil person." But like, there's nothing to stop people from playing that way either. So if you think there's no PvP in this game, it's because you're all too nice. Uh, in terms of like adding in like a different like game mode, like honestly, like that doesn't interest me as a player. So uh, I really want to say no, that's dumb, but it's not dumb. It's just I like if someone told me about that game, I'd be like, um, so if you yeah, again, I don't mean to say that that's like the bad idea necessarily. I'm just trying to explain why the game is the way it is. Like I mean, like if you told me about like I don't know, most first person shooter games, I'd be like, because like I don't know, just it seems like for there's like good first person shooters out there, but like the majority of them are so like I don't know. I think it's really a lot of people don't do them right. So I don't, but that's not to say that like a first person shooter is a bad idea. It's just that like there are some games for me that personally is like if I don't know. So I won't say I'm not going to do PvP. Like I'm not going to say I'm not going to say like I won't do this, I won't do that, but like I'm only going to do that if I have a good idea for it. Cuz like just uh just to like add in a mode just for the sake of adding in a mode, that's like dumb. There are things that I could add that are important instead. So yeah. Uh yeah, right. That so what you describe, very hollow, flat, something that personally, like if I went to a channel and saw people doing that, I'd be like, this is boring, I'm out. Or like this is like again, like I really don't know how to describe it except like um and again, it's not like there couldn't be something there. It's just like I don't know. Why don't I make this a virtual reality game? Like why don't I make this like why don't I'm making this a game at all? Why don't I make it tax software? Like why is this even software? Why aren't I like carving this out of like actual wood in real life? There's a million questions about like why am I not doing these other things? And the answer is because I like this more. I think this is a better thing. So to all those other things I say um but yeah, look for future editions of side quests that is virtual reality, hand carved wooden, whatever. Uh, so, oh hey, Alpha, how's it going? Or yeah, sorry for mispronouncing your name. I assume. Tabletop MMO. The tabletop part is that the game plays like a tabletop RPG, sort of. Like think like Dungeons and Dragons sort of game. Uh, And the MMO part is that it takes place online here, where hypothetically, like an unlimited. I mean, like it's not literally unlimited, but like there's no specific maximum on how many people can play at the same time. So, yeah, tabletop MMO side quests. So we got here. Yep. And I'm making a pirate ship. um. So. Yes. Yeah, it is another art day. So if you like art, you picked the right day to show up. I'm right now. I'm just specking in. Like you'll notice, like this the deck of the ship is very plain, and it just has these like weird shapes littered in. I'm basically just like deciding what to put on the ship, and then I'll go in and like clean up the detail and stuff. So this is gonna be a staircase, for example. Oh yeah, actually, I guess the staircase should have. Yeah, well, I will have to change the railing, and then the staircase should probably have the railing coming down the side of it as well. Maybe like should have like should have like oops. How did I pick the wrong color? Oh, I don't know, just very haphazardly, I suppose. Uh, yeah, the so the railing would probably like come down the side of the stairs as well. But I can draw that better uh, later once I've actually drawn the stairs in. Cause yeah, right. I also need a